Sis and tell. A whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. Amanda does stand up. Allison's on TV. And when they hop on the phone, it's the place you want to be. Sis and tell. A whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing.
Hey, Allie.
Hi, man. What's going on?
Nothing much. Just coming up with some new parenting techniques. So
That's always fun.
So I have this joke that I've been doing on stage probably since I started comedy when the kids were much smaller, right? Where I say the reason why girls go to the bathroom is because they're preparing for motherhood when you'll never pee alone ever again, right?
Oh, you mean the reason girls go to the bathroom together?
Yes. Yeah.
You left out that one word.
I left out that part.
I was like, well, I feel like going to the bathroom just prepares you for life, but that's just me.
Right? Just prepares you to empty your bladder. Yeah, totally.
Prepares you for not wetting the bed.
Joke. No, but like when you have toddlers, they like follow you everywhere. They follow you to the bathroom, and at a certain point, you hope that dissipates, right? And what happens is my kids have stopped following me into the bathroom because they're 11, and 14, but they will stand outside that door like it's a freaking confessional, and I am stuck in the bathroom, and they are on. I have nowhere to go, right? I'm like, please, can I just have some privacy while I poop? Like, really? Like, you're standing outside telling me about Minecraft or asking me a question, complaining about a brother, Like, give me a break. Give me a pee break. Like, seriously.
When your kids enter your bedroom, do they knock before they enter?
Sometimes. If the door is closed, they tend to knock. Why do your kids just bust open the door?
I'm pretty sure my kids just bust in. I was trying to think about it. Sadly, I don't really knock on their door, and they all three share a room. Well, now there's only one left in the house, so it's just him. But I try to do like kind of a light knock, but I do find myself just kind of walking in, and I'm thinking, well, they're 16, 18, and 20. That's probably not a really a nice way to, honor and respect their privacy. And I also would like a reciprocal respect of our privacy. And I'm thinking, right. I think they just come in, which is fine. I don't think we ever set boundaries like, please knock. And then I'm thinking back to my childhood, and I think I just busted in on mom and dad, right?
What did they do to you? Did they? Because I can tell you, I had no privacy. Let me tell you something about that. Mommy used to come in. She didn't like it if I closed my door. She didn't like it if I locked it. I don't know what she thought I was doing in there, right? So you
were playing Tetris for 2 of those years.
There were two. There were 2 doors to my room. One was from the hallway. That one I could lock. Then there was one that was from the bathroom that also had a door from the hallway, right? So if I locked the door, she wouldn't even bother trying to knock and say, like, what if I was getting dressed? She would just bust in through that side door. And I'm like, thanks, Arlene.
Right. I think, I was also so naive that I would try to go in their room and it'd be locked. And I'm like, what?
What are you doing?
Hello? Like, is anybody in there? What are y'all doing? Hello? Right? I was like, why is this door locked? And I'm like, oh my gosh, stupid.
Ew, stop talking.
I'm just saying that, for all the politeness in the South, that's just one of those things. Right? Look them in the eye, shake their hand. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Please. Thank you. We just never taught them to knock before entering a room, and that might bite them one day if they're just barging into rooms. Barging into rooms can lead to some uncomfortable situations.
Well, so my new strategy is that next time they do that, I'm just going to fling the door open while I'm in the bathroom and be like, yes, did you have something you wanted to say? And that maybe will embarrass them enough.
Yeah.
The vision of me sitting on the toilet going to the bathroom that they will leave me alone. Yeah. So I'm going to try it out and I'll report back in.
So let's move on from our potty talk.
Okay.
So there's been this sort of evolution of COVID, right? Like making people either, I don't know, reinvent themselves or reevaluate their lives, sort of figure out what's sacred. Like I have a lot of friends who've changed jobs or who are in the same job but have decided since it's remote, they are going to live in a city that's more affordable or more family friendly, right? Like all these things are happening, right? Even I was talking to Stuart, our brother, and he was saying it's really changed the dynamics of their workforce, right? Like the people, they're just, because of quarantine, they've had to either move or isolate, and then they've realized they really like being with their family and such. And I think with this comes the idea of what is really important to you or what is sacred to you. So Alan and I have been having these discussions, not so deep, but he has decided during quarantine, I think he decided this before quarantine, that I should change professions, that I'm really missing my calling. And he told me, that he thinks I should become a rabbi.
Well, it does make sense. You give these speeches and you can do them like on the fly. And haven't you officiated weddings before?
Well, I unofficially officiated one wedding. But I will say, I think it's probably not a good idea to go into rabbinical school or the rabbinate if I'm only in it for the sermons. I mean, I feel like that's not like having a guaranteed audience at least once a week is really not reason enough. It is tempting. You're so very tempting.
To give a speech, you become a rabbi.
Right. I am so desperate to command an audience. I actually think I would do a really good funeral too. I would do great weddings. I would do, I hate to say I would do an awesome funeral, but I think my experience as a interviewer, right, for PBS has put me in a position where I'm really curious about people's lives. And I think that's part of it, right? Like if any clergy is giving a eulogy, right, they typically sit with the family and they get to know those stories and they incorporate it. I'd be really good at that. I don't think I would have the patience to do all the other stuff.
So I think what you should really go into is you should be a freelance eulogizer.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. Let's look up freelance eulogizer.
Eulogizer? Is a eulogizer a thing? Well, Alan says he doesn't want me to be like a full-time pulpit rabbi. He wants me to be like a rent-a-rabbi, right? Sort of like that, right? Like where I could do weddings or funerals or just do a sermon or lead services.
Why do you need to be a rabbi to do that? You are already brought into communities to give speeches. So can't you just expand your audience to weddings and funerals?
I could, but I feel like people want somebody who's actually, I don't know, ordained, certified.
But you are. You've got some sort of internet certificate.
No, I never got the internet certificate. I could get that. Yeah. No, I just did this off the cuff in Alabama.
Okay.
But they, I don't know. Like, first of all, I think rabbinical school is like 5 years. So I would be 55 years old when I got out of rabbinical school. I guess, the reality is in 5 years, I will be 55 years old either way. So what I do with those 5 years is really up to me. It is an intriguing thought. I do like learning, and I can read Hebrew fluently. I don't understand it fluently, but I've got that going for me. So there's no, that would be easy access. And I am intrigued by like the stories and the Torah and liturgy, and I like singing, and my voice is not terrible.
You can carry a tune. When we sing together, we sound much better because we harmonize with each other.
I was in Glee Club at Indian Springs for 5 years and chamber choir for 2 or 3 of those. So, I mean, I used to have a decent voice. It's nothing like operetta or cantor worthy. But,
so here's the question, because it sounds like you're trying to convince yourself.
Well, not convince myself. I'm trying to talk through it, right? And Alan's very... He says it, and I just laughed, but I think he's serious about it. So then I thought, well, I'm going to talk to you about it because you'll at least give me a very honest opinion.
Can you do online rabbinical school?
That's what I'm wondering. I feel like the answer right now is yes, because everything's online. You
might have to go up every semester for a meeting with your advisor.
Right. And I think you have to, in some, at least if I was ordained in the conservative movement, which we are, I think you have to spend a year in Israel. Or,
really?
I shouldn't say have to. I think you get to spend a year in Israel. I think
you
that
guys
used
could
to be
do
part
that.
of it. Yeah. I mean, we're going to be empty nesters in 2 years. So, I mean, that might work out perfectly.
Can we find something for you to study that I can do with you? Because that would be more fun.
Like if we could be co-rabbis. Why could God? I wish you were. I wish you were a
I could be
trained
the cantor.
cantor. You
I
would.
could be the cantor.
It would be so
It could be
awesome.
the package deal, right?
We could be a package deal.
I mean-
Most people are a package deal with their spouse, right? Like they have a
Right.
great. And Alan would make a great Rebbitzin, right? Which is
and
he'd be
we
the
could
best
drive,
Rebbitzin.
and we could be long haul truck drivers together too.
What does that mean?
Meaning that in addition to me being your so you're the rabbi, I'm the cantor, we are long haul truck drivers. So when we are going to our next destination to work, we're also making some money on the way there by hauling for Target, you know?
Okay, that's
You know,
weird. I'm going to need to, before I commit to this partnership. I mean, I'm committed to this partnership, the podcast.
Right.
Before I
Yeah.
commit to the rabbi cantor partnership, I'm going to have to hear some
Okay.
some evidence of you being a worthy cantor, because you're going to have to go through cantorial school. You know
Okay,
that, right?
give me, what do you want me to sing?
How about God Bless America?
Like,
Or do you want to hear it? You want something
I
in
need the-
Hebrew? Maybe
I need
something
the
in Hebrew.
lyrics.
Yeah. Maybe just do the Shema. The Shema's an easy one. You know that by heart.
Can we do that? That seems sacrilegious to all of a sudden for me to belt out the Shema, which
The
is
Shema is just a daily prayer. You have to say it at some point today. You might as well say it now.
that's not going to really,
It's
You
not going to
know,
showce your voice.
it's not going to
Okay,
showcase
I'm going
my
to throw it back
voice.
to you. I've given you two options. This is like cantoral idol, right?
Okay.
What song are you going to sing? What would you like to sing today?
I would like to rap the Beastie Boys. I'm going to be the rapping cantor because let's just,
In the style of 90s hip hop only. You're going to be rapping.
I'm going to rap the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Ready? That would be amazing. It's look, we need a shtick, and the shtick is that you're the really fun rabbi that comes with the rapping cantor.
With the rapping
Boom!
cantor. That's it.
Boom.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Yeah.
'Cause I can't
I
sing.
think we need names like, the similar to like Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff in
yeah.
the 80s or 90s, whenever they were. Like we need like a partner name. The Beastie Girls, I think that
No,
that
that's
might
too.
be, yeah,
that sounds like a
it's-
cover band,
It does. It does.
which I could do that. We could do all of the Jewish prayers could be in tune to a Beastie Boys song.
Or what about if we called ourselves Rabbi Al and her rapping gal pal?
It sounds like we're a couple though. It sounds like I'm like your partner. I'm your wife though. Your
Well,
gal pal.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, my gal pal. Yeah. But I just like the alliteration and the rhyming. You know
Yes.
that. I'm all about the
We need
rhyming.
okay. I've had this name for a long time. Okay? And I'm gonna share it with you. And it's schmaltz and schleppa, which is like salt and pepper, but the Jewish version.
I am not going to be schmaltz or schleppa. I can just guarantee you that. It doesn't say what we are. You have to have the words like rabbi and rapping, right? Because
Yeah.
those are distinguishable, and they're also they're adjectives that describe what we are, but they're also fun. They're a little toysome, as we used to say in advertising. So, I mean, if I'm going to be a rabbi, I need rabbi in the moniker. I need the street cred. I'm kind of assuming you're not going to be an ordained cantor. Is that fair to say?
Are there cantors? Do cantors have to get ordained?
Well, they have to go through cantorial school, right? When I interviewed, I don't know if I told you this, but Randy Zuckerberg, who, as you know, is Mark Zuckerberg's sister, who is incredible. And she is not only brilliant and so kind. I don't know. She's had her own, she has a series of her own companies.
Okay.
But she did help to start Facebook. I mean, she was,
Right.
she, as she says, she's the Zuckerberg who actually graduated from Harvard. But she started off wanting to be a cantor. And tried to get, I think, into the music program, and that didn't work out for her, but she's got an extraordinary voice. So I'm just thinking, having heard her perform live several times, because we've spoken at several events together.
She sang?
She sang. Yeah, she sings. I've heard her voice, and it's magnificent. And if she didn't get into cantoral school or that didn't work out for her, I'm just saying, having heard your voice, I'm not sure you're going to make it in.
Are you saying you're going to partner with Randy Zuckerberg instead of me? Because that's what it feels like you're saying.
I was actually not saying that, but now that you bring that up, I think we would make a dynamic team. I should reach out to her. I might send her a little tweet saying, "Would you like to, join the forces of good?"
Well, can I be the unofficial cantor, the unofficial rapping cantor?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, we need to think of a name. I wasn't saying that to make you feel bad. I was saying because
really?
The rapping, the rapping part is your unique gift, right? And also you're shticky and you're a comedian, right? You're also the comic cantor, right?
Comedian cantor.
The comedian cantor. So I think we need to highlight and emphasize your natural abilities instead of possibly trying to be something you're not.
Right.
Anyway, all this to say is this could be a new career move for us.
You're not going to go to rabbinical school.
Okay, so it's not like I've considered it strongly, but it's also not like I haven't considered it at all, if that makes sense.
Okay, well, there's plenty of things I have not considered. I haven't not considered.
Right, I haven't not considered it. So it's not like I heard it and said, puh. I haven't done any research. I haven't gone so far as to say, I wonder if there's a virtual class I could take, or if there is like a middle ground, right? That I don't have to be a fully ordained rabbi, but I could still be a rabbi, right?
I think you should look into it and then at least take one class. Maybe you can audit some classes and see if you even like it before you start back, which I do think you're going to like.
Yeah, I think I'd like it. I think I'd like the learning. Again, I'm going to really like the sermon. I'm going to really like the sermons. And Alan, every time even when I just speak about normal stuff, he's like, oh, here comes the rabbi, right? So it's just a thought. It's just a thought, right? Like if I'm 50, right? So theoretically, if I make it to my goal, which is to be on my face on the Smucker's jar on the Today Show, so I got to make it to at least 100. So I'm only halfway through my life. And I've done a lot of fun things and things I'm proud of, but I don't think I've done everything I'm supposed to do on this earth. This might be it.
Most people, when they have their midlife crisis, they get a Porsche.
I get a Pulpit.
Oh my God. Instead of a convertible, you want to get a congregation.
That's exactly it. Yes. This is my midlife crisis.
Oh my God.
I'm becoming a rabbi.
You are such an overachiever. Thank God there's no sibling rivalry, right? Because then I'd be like, great,
not really. This is not about
doctor.
This is not about overachieving. This is about trying to achieve, right? This is trying to right size achieve, right? This is just
the overachiever
being open to possibilities. Look, the other point of this is whether I really pursue rabbinical school or not is the importance of having people in your life, right, who can see your greatest assets. And also maybe your drawbacks, but can see the assets that you don't necessarily see in yourself and push you to do those things. And I always talk about, I know I've talked about it here, that it was my professor that I TA'd for at Northwestern in graduate school who got me my first job, right? I was getting a master's in radio, TV, film, and my first job was at the Japanese consulate of Chicago.
Right. And your teacher's the one who encouraged you.
Not only encouraged me, he was a consultant there, and he said those words to me that are very similar to what Alan says, right? This is nothing you ever considered, but it's everything that you're good at. And he went on to list the skill sets that they were looking for. And that, it just reminded me that, hearing this from Alan, I'm encouraging that of our own three boys, right? Don't look at the vocation. Don't look at the profession you want to be. Think about your skill sets and your passion, and the intersection of those two things are the things you should do in life because you're going to be good at it, and you're going to be committed to it. So I have luckily been able to follow my passion and what I feel like I'm good at, right? And find the intersections of those things on multiple levels. And kind of being a serial entrepreneur, I've been able to do that in many different realms. This may just be the next step. Maybe it's time I stop, wearing many hats and just wear a single kippah. And then drop the mic.
Are you going to wear the yarmulke all the time?
No. See, I'm not going to be no. And I also don't want to keep kosher to be very candid, right? So that's why I don't know what
In
kind of
fact,
rabbi I can be.
you want to keep unkosher.
I want to be,
I like ribs.
right.
The rib eating rabbi.
The funny thing is I could give up meat. I'm not really the biggest meat fan. It's okay. And I like I do like a good steak, or I'm
Yeah.
not crazy about chicken. I could become a pescatarian pretty easily, which would make me kosher by default, right? But
Yeah.
I don't, it's the kosher part in some sense, is important only if it's important to someone else who I'm with or eating with. And if I'm not, I don't want to be offensive to somebody. And I also want to be able to accommodate people who have different dietary restrictions or customs. But for me, I don't, some of those things, that's why I think I could be a rockin' rabbi, right? And interpret the laws in a very flexible and accommodating way.
And you'll now have to learn the acoustic guitar, as all roaming rabbis do.
Okay, so the beauty of that is I already come with a band. Our
that's
kids
true.
all play instruments.
This is turning into a mega church.
We're going to be like the Jewish version of the Partridge Family. We're gonna be able to go and play. Levi, he loves all that stuff too. He went to song leader boot camp with Rick Recht in
I don't know who
in
that
St.
is.
Louis. Oh, he's literally a Jewish rock star, and he plays all over the country, and he plays at summer camps, and he leads this song leader boot camp, and it's for people of all ages and all denominations within Judaism, really, to learn how to play different tunes to the songs that we grew up, or different tunes to the prayers that we all know, and to infuse what we say ruach, like a kind of spirit. This is a very Jewy episode, isn't it?
This is.
We're going to have a glossary of terms in our blog, so people understand all of the Hebrew and phrases.
I would like to clarify that guy that you were calling him a Jewish rock star, but someone more like David Lee Roth, I would say, is a Jewish rock star.
No, see, David Lee Roth is a rock star who happens to be Jewish.
Okay.
Rick Recht is a Jewish rock star, right? With the emphasis, he really only plays Jewish music, but he does it in a fun rock star way.
Okay.
There's a differentiation. just so we're clear, right?
I got it. No, it's like a Jewish chef, right? So that's a chef who might cook traditional Jewish foods versus a chef that's Jewish.
Right. And yes.
Well, I would like to go learn something. Number one, I'd like to take a Photoshop class because there's so many things I'd like to Photoshop our heads onto.
Yeah, I've seen your latest work. You're very good. Or you got somebody who outsourced that.
Outsourced that, where I photoshopped us onto the solid gold dancers' bodies, which at least I picked like amazing bodies that were, it was like black leather leotards. Yeah. So it was on brand.
I will say I use Photoshop to do Levi's passport photos. I had to renew their passports, so I took all their Arthur and Levi's at home, and I used this online site that was amazing, where for $6 you can upload it and you scale it, and you can print it out, which is cheaper than going to like a CVS. But Levi was having sort of a rough teenage day, and so I put him in Photoshop, and I got rid of all of his blemishes, and then I saved it, and I'm like, Levi, you look so good. He's like, wow, look at that. He was very impressed.
Can you do my under eyes? Thank you.
Yeah, just send me your photos. I'll fix you. I'm better and cheaper than Botox. Just send it to me. So yeah, Photoshop class, which is very doable. You can do that virtually for sure.
Yeah. That's it.
That's all you want to learn? That's all you want to master?
I would go back to that pole dancing class at Vertical Joe's. It was fun. I would could be a comedic cantoral pole dancer.
No, I can't imagine. There's not a need for that. I mean,
niche. I have to say, if people are looking that up on Google search, I would come up first.
You would be top of the search for sure.
I would.
Yeah.
Who else is doing that? I don't know. I sometimes regret the master's degree I got. It was just very redundant. of my undergraduate studies, which I have a master's in kids media, and people think I'm joking when I say I studied TV, both in undergraduate and for graduate school. And I don't know, I wish I had done something different now. I
Yeah.
don't know. I really wanted to get an MBA, but I wanted to.
See, there's still time to do that. You could totally do a virtual MBA if you
I
wanted
know.
to.
I don't know if I don't think I want to do that now.
Okay.
But you know, I really
Nursing school? Nursing school? No.
nursing school.
I don't know.
No. God. Aaron cut his finger today and I was like, "Ugh, do your own Band-Aid." But also he's 43. He should be doing his own Band-Aid.
He shouldn't need me anyway.
It's like, "Oh my God. Like, no, I can't even watch my children get flu shots. I'm you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I have to turn my head too. I can't deal with any of that stuff. I would not make a good nurse. I was thinking about working on production sets again, right? I love being on sets. I miss that.
Wait, what happened to you? Because I saw this on a show the other day and it reminded me, I think you were talking about this, of being the audience rouser. What is that? Like the person before, like the Ellen DeGeneres show, or
Audience warm-up
the
person.
audience warm-up person before the Tonight Show, things like that. You'd be awesome at that.
I mean, I've been looking into it, but I haven't found a way to get in. And I think the only way for me to get in is by working on production, right? Like the guy who does the Ellen DeGeneres show, he started off as like a production assistant, and then they gave him an opportunity to warm up the crowd one day. Like that's how I've gotten a lot of on-camera stuff.
Right. Like the guy at Steve Harvey, he was good. You would be awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. I would love to do that, but those talk shows are, well, first of all, pretty much on hiatus right now.
Right.
They don't really have audiences, but they're really shooting.
Even better. Your job would be so easy right now. Yeah.
I'm just warming up the production crew. But those are really taped in LA, some in New York, not really in Atlanta. The fact that Steve Harvey was taping in Atlanta is not common, right? They were only here for what, like 5 weeks or something like that, and they brought their guy from LA.
Right.
So, I mean, who knows when all that stuff is going to start back? But I think the only way for me to get in is if I was working on production, and I don't want to be a production assistant.
Right. But there is an opportunity, or you would think, at Tyler Perry Studios. I mean, if you're going to not have to move out of Atlanta, that feels like the best place, because it is just exploding. I think it's growing every day, and they're adding shows and opportunities.
I did check their job listing like a few days ago, so it's interesting that you brought it. But it was nothing that I have a background in. Right. And I haven't done production work in so long. But I've done, I have a marketing and branding background. There's other ways I could get inside that studio.
I think you need to find somebody who works there, because I also often say, and this is true, that 70 to 80% of the jobs that you want, not just you, anybody, are never even posted, right? Or if they are, it's posted for a day for legal reasons and HR reasons. But a lot of the jobs, it's someone who knows somebody who says, all right, come on, I've got this great person, and she or he has all of the assets that we're looking for and is a known commodity, right? Is a known entity. And that a lot of people hire safe, right? Instead of smart, or, they think they're hiring safe and smart.
What are you saying about me?
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's worth it with all of your connections, just to start seeing if someone or someone who knows somebody is working there, just to get in the door, because there may be something you don't even know, a job that isn't posted and you didn't even know existed, that you'd be a perfect fit for.
I am always looking to see. Nothing's that interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, there's no titles I've seen that have compelled me to be like, oh yeah, this will be a good fit. And I mean, and like, to your point, there could be things available that I would be interested in that they just haven't posted, but I just I don't know. Nothing's like making me feel passionate, and there's nothing worse than being in a role you don't want to be in.
Right. Well, it's just, even like, if you even look at college, right, and university, there are majors now, right, even at two-year universities or colleges, that literally didn't exist when we were going to school.
Yeah.
And so there's just opportunities out there I think we just don't know about because we haven't been looking.
Which brings me to my reality show idea that I've had forever, which is The Intern, right? And that is kind of like Mike Rowe's Dirty Jobs, except Amanda Marks's The Intern, where I would just intern. That's what I would love to do. I would love to like intern at like crazy places.
Wait,
And
did we discuss this already? Because I had a very similar idea, except I was borrowing this idea from a guy who wrote a book called My Jesus Year. It was the son of a rabbi who wrote this book. He was trying to, I always go back to Judaism. He was trying to connect more to his Judaism, and he was really curious why people, especially of Christian faith, were so just so committed and so enthusiastic and we're going to church every Sunday. So he went to a different church service every Sunday for a year and talked about in all of his experiences. I thought I could do the same thing with an internship. Intern somewhere differently for a week, for a whole year, right? It would be very high maintenance. And then write about it, right?
yeah,
So it's very similar. That's funny that you had this idea too.
I've had, and I have had several years ago, I posted this on Facebook saying, where can I intern, right? Who has a place for me? And a couple people reached out, but do you have a place I can intern? I will totally do it. And we can also just talk about it on the podcast. Please don't make me start another podcast that's called The Intern, although that would be really fun. But we'll just talk about it on the podcast. Anyways, thank you for listening to Alison and I once again on Sis and Tell. Don't forget to share us with your friends, leave us a review, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
I'm hesitant to say it, but it's thank you for listening to Alison and me. Sorry, had to correct your grammar.
Oh,
as always,
need to go back to school.
As always, this has been Amanda and Alison with a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. We'll catch you next time.
Sis and Tell.